From Daytona we started, and in Daytona we end. The first ever regular season in the SimPulse Legacy Truck Series has been nothing short of a fantastic success, and the Prodigy Racing Association returns live on FTN to the virtual Daytona International Speedway, the 2.5-mile circuit which proves to be week after week as we return to this track, one of the fastest in oval racing for an 80-lap feature. The championship picture will be decided tonight, and qualifying is currently on the move for the Last Call 200 presented by Mound Visit Uniforms. Welcoming you all live on FTN. I'll be your host for tonight's broadcast. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing, and we are just moments away from seeing drivers hit the track here in Daytona International Speedway once again. Christopher Mullins won last time we went to this circuit, and he, among many other drivers, are currently taking times. Mullins going to find himself right now in position number 12. As he comes across the line, Mullins going to look slightly quicker, and that lap time will not be able to bump him up much further than where he is. He'll move up to 5th. And just like that, it's going to be Mullins within the confines of the top 5. Now it's going to be Jake Raven, your current points leader, getting back on the way. Raven still without a finish above 3rd place so far in the season. However, his consistency has been nothing short of fantastic. So now, coming across the line, Raven right up top. He'll be building up that momentum for the opening section of his lap here and get himself prepared for what's next to come. Number 37 machine going to ride up high, and how's about we ride on board as Jake Raven gets to work. And Raven tonight understanding that second qualifying lap is all that matters. Coming down the back straightaway all over again at a speed of about 178 miles an hour without the draft. Tonight we're going to be driving a somewhat different setup Daytona. It's a different track when it comes to the surface, and additionally a different setup under the hood for these trucks. So expect slightly different style of racing, which might lead to more action, higher speed passes, and overall a fantastic finish at race's end. As Jake is going to come across the line here and now, you'll see that very slow but sure transition down to the bottom of the apron. And so he makes his move in to the end of the first lap, beginning of the second, and Jake Raven right now going to be last on the board with a 50.47 flat. As it stands, Raven doing a real good job right now, just holding it exactly where he is in that number 37 machine, but he's looking to gain big, already half a second quicker as he runs down the back straightaway and looking to grab the pole position in his one and only lap that counts. Every driver who's taken a lap so far has recorded a time under 50 seconds, and already the brand new setup showing quicker speeds alone. We'll see whether or not that translates as the race progresses in that late race heat of the moment style action, but Jake Raven right now looking to reap what he sowed as he comes across the line with a barrel of momentum. It's going to be 180 miles an hour as he comes across the stripe, and Jake Raven with a 49.843, good for second, 8/1000ths back on the pole position. Joseph Klein right now going to be the only other driver looking to go for it. Raven rather close there to get in the pole position, but just couldn't make it happen. So now it's going to be Joseph Klein looking for the opportunity tonight to grab the pole position. Klein coming back to the circuit. He's been a part-time competitor so far in the campaign, and once again returning this time around the number 97 Hendrick Cars Chevy Silverado. Of the 15 drivers registered for tonight, 13 of which have taken the time. Joseph Klein right now going to be making it down the back straight, and Cody Linscott looks to be disconnected for tonight's session. It looks like a power outage and some electrical troubles are stunting his opportunity to race, as is the same circumstance for Cash Culp. Culp will not be with us due to a lack of internet connection tonight, and so his teammates will have to do his bidding for him. Klein going to be in the wall ever so slightly here, and it looks like with less than 50 seconds remaining, Klein will not be able to get an official time set, but will still be taking some of that extra practice time and stay out on the track regardless. So Joseph Klein could be the lonely man on the circuit for the time being. Top 10 times, separate by 106 thousandths of a second. Every time taken within a tenth and a half of the pole position, and the top 5 only separate by 75 thousandths. As you can see, Klein right now beginning to face some back and forth internet troubles. It's clear as day the 97 will not be able to officially set this lap. And so with that being said, it looks like qualifying has concluded, and it's going to be at the top of the board tonight, the number 56 of Corey Lyles with the pole position in his hand. Lyles going to be at the top of the board so far tonight. He does not have all of his teammates with him. Regardless, 56 looking to get it done and finally break the curse of the bridesmaid, which has gone on now for 4 consecutive weeks. Lyles gonna line up on the starting grid, and here in Daytona, it's time to head back to Florida. And as we've seen it multiple times this season, USA International Speedway and the Daytona opener, this area of the country has been nothing short but fantastic for the series. We went to Georgia for Lanier. We've been in Florida several times, and now we come back to Florida for our final time this season. Let's get to know the starting grid tonight for the last call 200. And at the front of the field, it's going to be the first driver to make the jump up. It's Corey Lyles in the number 56, who has been a runner-up finisher for the past month consecutively. Corey tonight not going to see his race-winning back-to-back teammate and Drake Carty taking to the track. And so it's going to be Corey's opportunity to get the torch passed right to him. And Jake Raven then and there going to be beside him in second. Raven still looking for his first opportunity at a win, and he's come oh so close. And he's been so consistent with third place as Corey Lyles has been second, both of which you have a chance to get it done tonight. Then from there, you'll see position number 3, Ryan Murphy making his first start, and will be Aaron Schugel, also a first-time starter. Schugel going to be running today with Corey Lyles, and as you can see, Schugel, a former competitor from the iRacing Cup Series, is a very familiar face on FTN, looking to prove he's going to be successful once more. How's about Joey Kuba? Kuba, for the time being, going to be inside of row number 3, and then outside of which it's going to be Christopher Mullins, who got it done with the initial victory in Daytona all those weeks ago. 7th place is going to be Cameron Fields. Shannon Milligan is going to be in 8th. 9th place then and there going to be Trayvon Snyder, and it will be Cody Johnson rounding out overall top 10. 11th place from that point on, we're going to be Aaron Fontaine, and Cameron Albertson is going to be in 12th with 13th place. Then and there going to Rodney Roberts and Joseph Klein in 14th. The final driver on the starting grid tonight will be Joseph Klein, and all 14 drivers on the starting grid will have to deal, of course, with the weather conditions for tonight's event. Not going to be sun up to sun down, but instead it's going to be an air temperature of 80 degrees. Quite fair overall, but the ambient temperature doesn't tell you the truth. The track is burning at 127 degrees Fahrenheit, and so it's going to be a sizzling track temperature paired with an unknown brand new setup getting tested for the very first time. Unrestricted Legacy Truck Racing, and you're seeing it for the first time live on FTN. It's going to be an exciting race, and these drivers are in the lab tonight looking to figure out what they can get out of this setup. It's going to be high-speed racing, higher than we've ever seen before with these old trucks at this new track. Daytona's been repaved since the last time we went here in the Legacy Truck Series, and Corey Lyles has a chance to bring us through for the final 80 laps of the regular season. iRacing official pace car will duck down low. Lyles and Raven, both oh so close to victory, have a chance to go for it tonight. Green flag and a fly for the first time in Daytona, and Corey Lyles will lead the field into the opening turns. Across the line, Aaron Schugel going to find himself as the overall race leader. He will lead lap 1 and now has Corey Lyles assembled right behind him. Ryan Murphy going to be position number 3, and it's going to be Chris Mullins then and there in 4th. Top 5 drivers are going to be concluded with Jake Raven now falling back 2 spots, 3 spots now as a matter of fact, and everyone going to be getting themselves strapped up for the long haul here in Daytona. Speed of about 190 miles an hour as drivers head into turns 3 and 4. The draft already getting a little bit stronger. And so we'll find out how those lap times come into play for the rest of the night. Coming across the stripe here, 79 laps to go. It's a fully single file train. So now drivers getting a chance to see those lap times at full pace. That time by 48 seconds for the majority of the field. Fastest time run is a 47.889 for Joseph Klein. However, these drivers are not really pushing right now. It looks like instead they're just getting themselves ready to get their bearings in. This is not the same setup we went to with Daytona last time around in multiple ways. Let's first off talk about the track tonight because it is a fundamentally different experience. It is Daytona. It is still the same 2.5-mile circuit, and when you look up above the track, it does look the exact same. However, today we're dealing with a much more modern version of the very same track. Now, as we look at our satellite footage, which we have been gratefully provided by our friend at FTN, Kenneth Bueno, you can see right now Daytona looking quite well put together. And the reason is, unlike the 2008 scan we used to kick off the campaign, well, tonight it's going to be the brand new repaved version of the circuit, which is about as good as new, and these drivers have a much smoother racing experience ahead of them as the night progresses, utilizing this brand new surface. So, looking back down to the track again, you could see beginning to spread out rather than fully single file, beginning to see that 2x2 coming to play. And drivers should have a little bit more confidence right now as Corey Lyles decides to drop like a rocket there. You see him fall back a little bit with minimal damage, if any. Lyles is still doing just fine. However, with this brand new surface, you should be seeing drivers sticking to the track like it is nothing. They should have absolutely no problem in staying where they are and keeping it there from flag to flag. Unless, of course, something were to occur where contact was made at a high speed. Should be a much more secure feeling on the track with or without the driver's setup being different. However, tonight we have mentioned that it indeed is going to be different. Qualifying speed is going to be a few tenths of a second faster as one driver falls down, and then that's Chris Mullins. Mullins drops like a rocket. It looks like he falls back to the tail end of the field. Mullins is destroyed, and your race winner from our first trip to Daytona in big trouble. And we're going to take an instant replay here and figure out what caused it. Mullins is going to slide down, and he finds himself now all the way at the back. Here's a look. Chris Mullins from 4th is now going to fall to 14th and last of all those who started. Contact there with a 97 of Joseph Klein, and Mullins is destroyed. He will not be able to get back on the circuit for the rest of the night, at least in competitive order, and so he was the only driver to avoid the madness last time at Daytona. Chris Mullins is done for the day. And so now as the leaders are going to come by him down the back straight, you can see here Mullins, big trouble. He's going to be puttering out on the inside, on the apron anyway. And here comes Aaron Schugel and company looking to make it by. Lead lappers going to put their first driver 1 lap down. And that time by 49.433. It looks like single file racing going to be dominant in the early stage of this race. Rather than seeing any aggressive driving, instead, most drivers getting themselves set up for the long haul once again. However, this is more extreme than what we saw in our season opener. And I think right now drivers are more than anything prioritizing getting to the last leg of the race, which by no means is a bad thing, but at the same time you'll see that calmer style of racing come into play where drivers are not at all reluctant to let another driver go by and make that pass. Right now Ryan Murphy going to go up to the top side alone. I don't quite think he's going to go there to be any aggressive, but instead try to get that side draft and maybe try to forge something for himself. Murphy's going to stay side by side right now with Joseph Klein anyway, and it looks like Jake Raven not really going to give him a headache because Raven stays exactly where he is, and instead it's going to be Corey Lyles going up top. So it's almost going at your own pace right now. If you'd like to be aggressive, could be. If you would not like to be aggressive, you can stay in line and you will have absolutely no trouble doing just that. And so it looks like most drivers are deciding to go by how they feel the race should play out early. Not seeing a lot of pressure throughout the track, but Ryan Murphy is trying to put some minor pressure, if anything, down for the race lead. Murphy now going to be going up top side here with Aaron Schugel, and the side draft has been kicking in quite well. Corey Lyles once again looks to the outside and will take Ryan Murphy right there with, and it looks like for the number 91 of Aaron Schugel, he will be out there on his own on the inside. Joseph Klein with him, but it looks like now the 55 of Murphy starting to assemble that momentum, and he might bring a few other drivers with him. Keep in mind, there are also those watching, such as Jake Raven, and right with them, Shannon Milliken. They can decide to go up to the top side at any moment, and while they haven't yet, it doesn't mean that decision isn't due to come. Single file outside of the top 4 drivers, and now Ryan Murphy going to be shoved out to the race lead. Corey Lyles comes with. This will allow Lyles to get right ahead of the 91 in Aaron Schugel. Both drivers run competitively in the Endurace Cup Series, and they run for JFR. However, JFR in this series is somewhat different. Reason being, drivers such as Drake Carty, well, not showing up here with GRA paint schemes, actually race for GRA rather than JFR. Now, Thomas Coonan, a JFR driver, let us know that the team is a little bit more divided, not by any problems anyway, but just because this is a series that is brand new and it's almost a bit of an experiment. So you'll begin to see smaller groups of drivers working together to try to figure things out as we all build up. Here's a lap on board with Aaron Schugel. Let's see what's going on from the 91's perspective. Schugel right now going to be staying in line and keeping himself just intact with the number 56 of Lyles ahead. Right now, single file is dominant. Ryan Murphy able to use that side draft to get himself the race lead. Jake Raven concludes the top 5 as he runs right behind Joseph Klein. Chris Mullins, after that initial incident, is officially now 5 laps down, and unless he were to get on the track and get a few cautions, it's highly unlikely we see Mullins back in a good position to conclude the night. Right now, the number 18 of Aaron Fontaine going to find himself just behind Cody Johnson. Johnson, one of the 2 Codys who registered for this race, and the one and only who will be able to make the event, as it looks like no technological troubles for the number 13 tonight. Cody currently going to find himself running in 7th. The number 13 team not doing anything all too notable just yet, and the middle pack of the field really doesn't have to do all too much. It's that patience that is going to come into play. With 69 laps to go, it's a nice thing that most of the field has decided to stick with each other rather than causing any problems. Up high, Corey Lyles now going to take the lead from Ryan Murphy, and going to bring there Aaron Schugel with, and Joseph Klein. It's going to be a quick 1-2-3 procession trying to get the 55 out of the way. So Lyles now going to break away by a little bit of an extra car length. You got the 91 right there with. The outside groove going to have to work together here if they want to make something happen against Ryan Murphy, which it looks like at least the 2 drivers here up in front of Schugel and Lyles have done so. And now Aaron Schugel going to let Corey Lyles go right down and in. That time by 49.619 as everyone's riding smoothly here, but not really riding all too aggressive. We've seen speeds of up to 190 miles an hour when drivers are at full push on the throttle. Right now we're running at a speed of about 178 coming out of 2. It's clear to us anyway that these drivers are maybe saving up a little bit more, and it might just not be about the, of course, racing attitude, just trying to avoid wrecks, but also perhaps because these drivers want to save that fuel. Take a look back right now for Corey Lyles and you see what's going on. Lyles right now going to be unchallenged on the bottom side, but once again, Joseph Klein now looking to put a fight to him, and he's going to bring Ryan Murphy up top. Never the stranger to making these moves up on the high side. Ryan Murphy has decided to do some things different and continue his battle for the race lead, even if the rest of the field has decided maybe take it a little bit backward, be a little bit more patient, and wait on the best opportunity. Ryan Murphy right now, he's going to be focused on the current moment, and it looks like that current moment is going to bring him a chance to take the race lead once again. But Lyles has once again pushed back, and so he finds himself now with 67 laps to go in a good position, perhaps to stay where he is with Aaron Schugel in tow and not have to worry all too much about the number 55 and 97 of Klein. Disregard them and just keep on pushing regardless of the situation. Looks like so far, 55 of Klein, and of course, both of which up top, they've stayed there. Jake Raven now coming into the picture, and we'll see what Jake can do as he stayed ever so slightly a little bit further back previously, and now he's been creeping in, and as he's crept into the picture, he has brought with him there the number 17 of Shannon Milliken and Cody Johnson in the number 13, all of which looking to make up the bottom half of the top 10 in the fight eventually as this race goes on. Top, Corey Lyles going to go now. He's got the race lead, but that is due to change. He'll be taking 3 wide on the top side, and as you see the mid-pack here, soon they're going to have to experience Corey Lyles as Corey ends up top, and he will lose back all those spots rather quickly. You can see here, nobody going to be jumping up on the high side to save him and give him a little bit of the draft, but instead now, the high side once again losing its power. 16 laps in, 65 to go. Joseph Klein now going to be pushing Aaron Schugel on the bottom. Ryan Murphy finds himself rather lonely, and Corey Lyles dropping back to the very tail end of this pack. See here for Ryan, it looks like he will stay side by side with the number 97 rather than going for anything all too aggressive. Here it remains the same principle. Keep on waiting for the perfect opportunity down low. Murphy has been the continued outlier, but it looks like while his success has been continued, it has not come as easy as it would to be if he were to just stay in the line and keep things. Perhaps the drivers wouldn't like it, perhaps they would call it uninteresting, but it would be a completely different style if everyone was running single file. And right now, Ryan Murphy has been spicing things up, even if other drivers don't want to try it. Corey Lyles right now going to be down to 10th position. Final driver in the top 10 and still running in the pack. However, very far behind from anything very contentious. And you can see here, Ryan Murphy once again going to go up to the high side here as he's lost a spot to Joseph Klein. I think now Murphy no choice but to perhaps surrender for the time being and drop down and in ahead of Jake Raven if he really wants to solidify that early podium. With 63 laps to go, there's a lot of time on the table, and most everyone you're seeing on track still has a chance to win. So I highly doubt, at least for now anyway, that there's any benefit from Ryan Murphy doing what he's doing, and instead, maybe it would be best for him to continuously drop in line and keep things moving. But you can see it right now, a little bit of a surge there from the number 55. Cody Johnson gets loose as well, and we got one spinning back of the field. We got trouble indeed. Yellow flag's going to be out, and it's going to be Cameron Fields bringing out the first caution of the day. Fields with a yellow flag. Let's take the instant replays. The number 2 ends up with the yellow flag in hand. So taking a look back to Cameron Fields on this incident, Cody Johnson going to cause a checkup, and it looks like from that angle, looks like Cameron Fields simply able to get it into the wall, unable to avoid it. We'll take one further look back on board inside the cockpit of the number 2 and get you a better viewpoint of what we're seeing right now. And from this angle, you can see there, perhaps a rear-end contact more than anything else. So one more look back here at Cameron Fields, and you'll see all the angles. It looks like maybe Corey Lyles catching a piece. And that it was. Contact with Corey Lyles will bring Cameron Fields spinning around back and forth, and it's going to be some damage for the number 2, but nobody else going to get involved as the yellow flag is going to fly. once again. For the first time today, but the yellow flag has been rather common in the past few weeks. Cameron Fields, part of the incident, alongside Corey Lyles. Oh, we got a wrecker under yellow. It's going to be Trayvon Snyder. And he looked to be alone as it happened. Snyder, with the yellow flag already out, is going to wreck. We'll take a look inside the cockpit and figure out why. Something happened under yellow. Clear as day, there was an incident. Take a look back here. So here's Snyder in the number 74, running down the back straightaway. Looks like Joey Kuba perhaps involved in this one, and that they were. So you can see here, Trayvon Snyder going to be running from behind, and Joey Kuba right ahead. So as they go in, Kuba checks up, and Snyder keeps on going right into him. And it looks like a multi-car incident under yellow. Joseph Klein got away. Trayvon Snyder, though, is going to end up hitting the wall right up top. And you can see here, 61 laps to go. Joey Kuba, he's going to be in the grass. Snyder just hitting the wall, insult to injury. Joey Kuba is able to get out more so unscathed, but both of which with a surprising wreck, to say the least. Nonetheless, it still happened, and the yellow flag going to be out. More than half the field deciding to come down to pit road. This will leave Ryan Murphy, Jake Raven, Shannon Milligan, Cody Johnson, and Cody Albertson, Cameron Albertson, all of which out on the track. 5 of which, compared to the rest of the field, Aaron Schugel, the winner on pit road that time by. And since we have a little bit of time before the racing gets back into full swing, we'd like to thank one of our FTM Premier partners for providing the coverage to you, Throttle Graphics and Designs, and we'll return after the following message. With 61 laps to go, we'll go green with 59 laps remaining.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
59 laps to go when we return. Ryan Murphy going to find himself at the top of the board, deciding not to go down to pit road, as did a few other drivers with them, including Jake Raven, Shannon Milligan, Cody Johnson, and Cameron Albertson. Pit strategy going to now be divided for the first time tonight after our very first yellow flag. And so we go at it once again, this time with the 55 in full control, and drivers such as Raven and Milligan having a chance to push the leader out after the green flag drops. It's going to be a sprint from here on out, and at Daytona, these laps go by a little bit quicker than you'd think, even though they are quite long in length. 2.5 miles per lap, and for the first time tonight, Ryan Murphy with undisputed control as he brings the field back to green for the first restart of the day. Raven up top and Murphy right down to the bottom, and the field is brought up to speed with Murphy heading through turn 1. It looks like Ryan going to get away with very little trouble on that opening sector. Not to mention, of course, Jake Raven doing a pretty good job right up top. Take a look now, that number 37, he's hanging in there, and he's doing so without trouble, and as a matter of fact, he's got the race lead. Now it's going to be Jake Raven taking advantage, but look at that, 3 wide down the middle, and Corey Lyles will remain 3, and he will take the race lead. Now going to find himself stuck in a 3 wide mixture. It's going to be all about whether or not he escapes. It looks like he will not, and Jake Raven stays right up top once again. Still 3 wide with 59 laps to go. Racing like it's the last lap for the lead. Corey Lyles and Aaron Schugel have decided to split the middle. Jake Raven is going to be forced up top with Cody Johnson. And we're 3 wide racing what looked to be a one-time move. It looks like now it's going to become a full-on charge for the race lead. Lyles back on top, and the new tire brigade already coming through. Rena Bloom, Aaron Fontaine in the chat room, thank you all for stopping by, and the Israel Racing Series, which on Monday night will come to its close on FTN. The season finale going to be one of the most exciting events of the campaign, and it's going to be at a very exciting track. Watch out for Talladega. What a way to finish off the season. Monday nights at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Gary Gotso and Mark Murphy, they've been doing a great job on the broadcasting booth, and Israel, a fantastic series, and you know, whoever's managing that page is a big fan of these legacy trucks, and tonight they're back in Daytona and they're doing a great job driving. That time by was a 49.607 for the driver, the 56, and Corey Lyles, and overall, while keeping calm there, making some aggressive motions, it looks like the truck has been driving real good as Lyles and Schugel take it up to the top 2 placements. Look back on the 56 and you'll see, besides Schugel, nobody's quite there yet. Right now, Lyles remains up and ahead. He's got on the deck lid there the Iora number 56 he runs on Thursday nights here in FTN competition, and he's done a great job with that crew of JFR. Lyles slowly but surely coming back into his own, but it has been more than a year since we've seen him win on FTN, and the last time he did it, it was a Truck Series race at Daytona. It just happens it came through in the Iora Cup Series in their very, very brief Truck Series stint. Since then, Lyles has been close. We've seen multiple runner-up finishes from him against some stout competition, and yet he has never once again been able to lay claim to the victory, at least on his own. He's all, of course, seen his teammates as recent as Drake Carty at the victory, but it has not yet come back to Corey Lyles, as if, of course, he's been almost cursed in a way by the racing gods here on iRacing. It looks like now Corey deciding to drop out, not liking what he's seeing, and instead letting Ryan Murphy and Aaron Schugel go right back at it. Here's a look at the number 55 and Ryan Murphy once again taking the race lead with them. You're going to see Joseph Klein in the second spot up top, and down low, the number 91 of Schugel and the 15 of Cameron Albertson now 2 by 2. Albertson with a new look today, and you might remember that this team as a whole came in unsponsored, and not only was it Cameron Albertson was unsponsored, but the number 2 of Cameron Fields and a litany of other drivers who came in with the exact same livery. They were all running all white paint schemes to kick off the year. They were able to find sponsorship, and now as we take a look at Cameron here, and Albertson is running tonight the number 15 admin box machine with a little bit more of a tropical flavor as he comes back down to Florida. Admin box has become one of the premier partners of these drivers, and while involved throughout the entirety of the sim racing world, they've shown particular love to the FTN series we broadcast, such as PRA and the Highline Racing League, just to name a few examples. And right now, Cameron Albertson running quite well in that number 15, doing a fantastic job staying exactly where he needs to be. 54 laps to go, largely single file as we cross the stripe again. 55 of Ryan Murphy going to find himself advantageous, and Joseph Klein there in second. Aaron Schugel, position number 3, and Cameron Albertson going to be in fourth, with Jake Raven now fifth as he gets right by Cameron Fields. And Fields admittedly still going to be a little bit damaged. It looks like that number 2 has a little bit of that damage on the left rear. And as you see it there, he's not going to have a good time going up to the corners and getting up off those exits. He goes up to the high side there, so he's having to deal with the banking for a little while longer, and yet the momentum will not prevail. As you can see, Cameron right now going to have to drop back a little bit further if he wants to get in the line safely. That's exactly what he's got to do, and so he's done it. You can see now, Cameron going to find himself at the tail end of the top 10, just behind Aaron Fontaine, and far behind now the likes of which, including Ryan Murphy and Joseph Klein. Right now, the 55 and 97 have been the duo of the day. Say what you will about a driver like Aaron Schugel and his pair up with Corey Lyles. Even though these two drivers did not come in as teammates and you can see completely different paint schemes, they've done a great job working with each other, and it shows now as they're beginning to build a gap. And for the first time all night long, perhaps a group of drivers beginning to break the toe here at Daytona. Something we didn't see all too much of last time we went to this track was starting to break up and separate from the field and trying to do things differently. For the time being right now, with 52 laps remaining, it is obvious that tonight, driving differently. We saw those qualifying times, they were quicker. Tonight, though, the attitude in the pack has been completely different because instead of going aggressive, we've instead find ourselves in a little bit of a backwards position in which the race has been largely oh so calm. One yellow flag and the most important incident of the day, perhaps the biggest, shall we say it, it happened under the yellow rather than when the caution occurred. Trayvon Snyder right now going to be one lap down after the under yellow incident. Christopher Mullins, who won at Daytona to kick off the season, who's already retired from the track, and it looks like right now, as time continues to come down at 51 laps to go this time by, the overall advantage still going to be in the hands of Aaron Schugel. This is going to be Aaron up on top, provisionally speaking. Let's see what's next in store as the drivers now only have 50 laps left. Coming through there is Cameron Fields in number 2, and it looks like despite the damage in looks like he's returned up in front. Ailing, however, that truck will stay alive, and it keeps on surviving regardless of what's occurred. Doing a great job so far. I mean, how can you deny that Cameron Fields has done just that? Admittedly, so far, he's made something of that truck, which looks to be all torn up and bent up beyond belief. Here you have it even still. Let's ride on board with Cameron and see how he's doing it. Cameron Fields now going to be behind his admin box teammate in Cameron Albertson. Can the Camerons tonight defeat some of the FTN veterans for the first time? There's an opportunity now on the table for just that to occur. Corey Lyles going to find himself leading this thing with 49 to go. And for the first time tonight, double file racing is coming into play. Take a look down at the bottom side. Corey Lyles is there. And in addition, you've got Cameron Albertson making it 2 as a pair. The best teams in this series have most often throughout the entire campaign been up in front. No matter what you make of it, despite the minimal run that we saw from Zach Saunders, 3 wins, 3 starts, and then being done with it, everyone else has been reliant on those teams and the cooperation we've seen race after race. That's been crucial to finding success, and here at the Super Speedway, it's no different. Perhaps it's even more important at a track like Daytona or Talladega. If you don't have a good driver pairing to work with, you'll often find yourself at the back of the field with nobody to trust, and not having trust at Daytona is like not having the engine at a short track. Of course, everyone tonight having some bad fast engines, and now they're beginning to use them. But at the same time, you gotta wonder, what's it like out there for the drivers who are solo, like Ryan Murphy and Joseph Klein, who are now beginning to get it pushed back a little bit further as the teams are coming up in front. Albertson with the lead right now. 47 laps to go. Take a look on back and you'll see his teammate in Fields has been relatively consistent. Now coming into turns 1 and 2, you can see Cameron Fields with that damage has decided to stay exactly where he is rather than making any form of contention. His contentious moves have been very minimal tonight, especially given now the left side as a whole, it is completely torn up, front and rear. Particularly on that back side, there's very little that Cameron Fields can do right now. Rather than hold on where he is and just keep on trucking, no pun intended anyway, that's the best that Albertson and Fields can do together, as now the momentum going to be stripped from the back of the number 2, and that's where you take away the power here for these two drivers. If Albertson is going to be fine, it's always going to be Fields maybe a little bit weaker, and taking the momentum away from that weak truck. There you have it. Ryan Murphy up and ahead in the 55, and Joseph Klein now going to go in second again. These two have been working together fantastic tonight, and they have done so once more. Now up top, Joseph Klein decided to make the move for the race lead for himself, using that side draft tactic, which has proven to be oh so popular all night long. Of course, wrong for some drivers, right for others. All night long anyway, side draft has been prominent for a few reasons. Here at Daytona, in this new configuration, the track surface is relatively calm and relatively smooth. Overall, it's unlike the 2008 configuration, which bumps are consistently up and down the track. If you hit one wrong bump, you will be all sorts of messed up, and that could end your race prematurely, which of course no driver wants to face. So tonight, you're seeing a little bit more of that side-by-side action used in one-on-one competition rather than just in groups. And that's why a driver like Joseph Klein and Ryan Murphy alike have both decided to do a few more things individually rather than getting the pack assembled with them. And you can see right now the pack is far from assembled. Frankly speaking, there's Jake Raven. He's down at 7th, about a second behind your leader. And you have to look a few tenths up to a Shannon Milligan and Aaron Schugel and Cameron Fields and Cameron Albertson right there. The further up you go, the further you see the track times are getting quicker, lap times anyway, and of course the power being pushed more and more. The front of the field being strung up together should allow them to continue to make time as the night progresses. 43 laps to go, and we continue to see this similar back and forth motion between the top two drivers, rest of which have done a real good job, of course, just remaining consistent. Nothing else too crazy about it. Rather than staying where they are, though, it looks like Klein and Murphy have become content passing each other. And now Shannon Milliken going to try to become content in passing Cameron Fields. Keep in mind, with what we're seeing right now from each and every driver, there will still have to be one more mandatory pit stop. Very unlikely, of course, that it's going to come within the next 10 laps, but perhaps by the 20 to 15 lap to go marker, something in that range. Expect drivers to once again head down a pit road and decide to do something a little bit different than what you've seen so far tonight. We went down a pit road for some of these drivers, most of which actually, and maybe for Joseph Klein and Ryan Murphy and the company on down there, they'll have to come down a pit road in as little as 5 or 6 laps. They've been on a 39 lap stint here, whereas of course the drivers who went down a pit road, they did so 19 laps ago. They can go a minimum of some 20 plus laps from here. So we do have that split strategy in mind, and regardless of who goes when and who goes where, everyone still has one more pit stop remaining. We should be able to make things happen. 3 wide nearly coming into play once again. Here's the number 55 up top of Ryan Murphy, Cameron Albertson right down low, and looks like again now Klein can have that momentum boosting up to the top side and slamming it down to the bottom here, getting just ahead of Albertson again. Klein get a lead. Right beside him now, it's going to be that battle for second. Ryan Murphy going up at the high side where it looks like he's been most comfortable making passes all day long, and he's looking for one again. And while he looks for the pass, wasn't able to get it. Now coming down to pit road, it's going to be a shift in momentum. It looks like a little bit of a lockup there, and a spin for Ryan Murphy. Murphy spins coming into pit exit. Nobody else gets caught up. Klein is going to get loose, but Ryan Murphy spins. And for Ryan, it's going to take him an awful long time to get back into the swing of things here. 40 laps to go at the halfway marker. The biggest mistake of the day for Ryan Murphy. And now he'll have to get back on the way, puttering to his pit stall. Bad news for the 55, and now he's going to be, technically speaking, off the cycle, while all other drivers should be able to keep on going. Expect another group to come down to pit road here, led by Shannon Milliken. You'll see Jake Raven and Cody Johnson also coming with, and as these three make their way in all together here, you're going to see 1, 2, 3 coming in, not this lap, but at least within the next 5 laps here. They've been on a run of 40-plus laps, and deciding for a few drivers instead, rather than going down quickly, it's going to be all about waiting and going the distance. 42 laps in so far. Shannon Milliken find himself third. Let's take a ride on board now with Shannon in the highest spot he's been all night long. Oh, having to split a lapper there, and they're going to go by Cameron Fields with some trouble, but everyone stays all together. We'll keep watching with Shannon. Milliken now going to be coming down to the pit road this time by, and so he will be bringing with them the drivers we previously mentioned. Here comes with a destroyed truck in the back of the field, and it looks like Joey Kuba, his day is done. Kuba looks to be disconnected already. Take a look back now as he's going to come down spinning in a pit road. And just like that, it looks like involvement with the number 2 of Cameron Fields. That is what's going to do Joey Kuba in, and his race will be over. Look at that, the number 93 now going to be out of this one, the second retiree of the day, and stealing the show from the drivers who have come down to pit road very recently. And you can see the crowd is still going to be all jam-packing. Not a one of them is in their seat, as they see now Milliken, Johnson, Raven going to be leaving pit road. And now you have a bundle of some 4 drivers who have decided to stay out, and they still have 15 more laps left on the run. Schugel, Lyles, Fontaine, and Rodney Roberts, all of which still running with 37 laps remaining. They are your battle for the net race lead. All the while here, Joseph Klein and Cameron Albertson are together. Cody Johnson going to be with Jake Raven, and Shannon Milliken remains about a second back here. So the field's going to be separate, and here come the leaders barreling through. Now, 37 laps to go this time by, and as always, live on FTN, we'd like to thank iRacing Motorsports Simulation for their continued involvement in the sim racing community and all that they've done for the platform here in 16 plus years of racing action. If you want to join us live on FTN, iRacing is the simulating platform we use, and to find out more about all eNASCAR related news and the ladder to the top level of oval sim racing, visit the eNASCAR newsletter provided by our friends at iRacing and eNASCAR together. We'd love to have you join the fun, so scan the QR code on your screen and you can join in here with our friends on FTN. We'll be right back after a brief message from our associates at iRacing Motorsports Simulations and bring you uninterrupted coverage from then on out. You're watching with 35 laps to go this time by. It is the last call of 200 here in the SimPulse Legacy Truck Series, the regular season finale, and we'll be right back after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
34 laps remaining now, and it's going to be Aaron Schugel and Corey Lyles up in front, the 1-2 tandem at the head of the field. Doing a great job so far in the regular season finale. Corey Lyles still eyeing his first win, as is, of course, Aaron Schugel, both of which have not yet been able to win, but the reasons are slightly different. Aaron Schugel has never been in this series before, never made a start previously. Corey Lyles has become a bit of a veteran, and admittedly he has found the most heartbreaking ways to lose, race in, race out. If we take a look on board now with Corey Lyles, we'll see what he's doing now with his teammate in Schugel as they race each other at the head of the field. Lyles right now going to stay nose to tail with his teammate at the head of the field with 33 laps to go. As is the same right behind, there's Aaron Fontaine in third and Rodney Roberts in fourth. How about Rodney Roberts coming to his own in the very late stretch of this regular season? Had perhaps his best race last week in Pocono, where he was running for the majority of this entire event on the lead lap and in the podium on pace and merit. Roberts all of a sudden maybe gained the opportunity to push himself into a much better spot in the championship with this very late race surge and late season surge. The playoffs coming up ahead, and Roberts, through consistency alone, will find himself a ticket into the playoff picture. The question becomes, of course, what is next? Whether or not he can keep these moving with these great runs, that is the big question. 32 laps to go, making it 31. Jake Raven also going to be there in 7th. Raven tonight going to be 1 lap down, at least for the time being, and this is where we begin to once again acknowledge that tire strategy. So, on an 8-lap run right now, and on the lead lap, Joseph Klein and Cameron Albertson. Also, there's going to be the 55 of Ryan Murphy, but he's nearly 2 laps down right now. He's not really going to be in race-winning contention. He instead is in a bit of a world of his own, in all honesty, and it looks like he will not be a competitive driver until it's all said and done, unless he gets another caution. So, we look at him, and of course we look at these drivers who are still barely on the lead lap, and yet they haven't been able to do all too much else. Here's the number 13 of Cody Johnson. He's with Jake Raven, Shannon Milliken, and Trayvon Snyder. Now, Snyder is also on the wrong strategy. He's in the same boat as a driver such as Ryan Murphy, both of which they find themselves now very far out of the picture, and despite that fact, of course, 30 laps into this stint, Snyder will have to come down a pit road to end this race. Unlike Ryan Murphy, it looks like it's going to be Snyder dead last of all those who finish if he decides to keep on going. Cameron Albertson right now going to be hounded by the back bumper of Ryan Murphy, and all the way up top, Lyle's going to be there with Aaron Schugel. It's the number 91 machine of Schugel going up to the high side, and Aaron Fontaine right there with neck and neck with 30 laps remaining, and time is still going to be on the side of the drivers who are on the lead lap anyway, those who have come down to pit road with the biggest advantage. But 32 laps into this run, Schugel, Lyles, and company, well, they've got to make something work here because time is running up against them. Those who have already gone to pit road will be fine to finish this race. 32 laps into this stint and 29 remaining, Schugel and Lyles have to contemplate what's next, and as does Aaron Fontaine and Rodney Roberts right there too. 29 laps remaining, and this time by it looks like it's going to be Roberts falling a little bit further back, perhaps a car length back or so, but nothing all too crazy here, as time is going to be the biggest factor. I think right now, though, it could go multiple ways, as that's going to be a huge wiggle there from Aaron Fontaine. So let's talk about the numbers when we talk about time. There's laps equations, of course. That's what it comes down to. Can you make the right calculations on fuel, which I think most drivers have? You can come down to pit road right now and you could already make it, but the undercut might not be all too desirable based on what we've seen so far. Now, with 28 laps to go, drivers judging based on what they've previously seen. The undercut does not look like it's going to be the move to win this race, but instead, you're going to find drivers trying to go a little bit longer and trying to run that strategy to the max. That's what Aaron Fontaine is going to do right now, even with that little bobble. And you're going to also see Shannon Milligan now right there, and the entire field is bunched up one more time. So keep in mind, pit road takes about 35 to 40 seconds to be on, plus entry and exit, so it's going to be a very close call for all the drivers who make it in this time around, because they've got the other drivers, the lappers, currently at lead race speed. However, as the time goes down, lap after lap, they're going to have to come down and in. And these drivers with that leading speed will be able to carry that for at least half a lap, if not more, with the momentum they're working with. The setup tonight allows for a little bit more of that unrestricted drafting. So as these drivers come to push and shove for higher speeds, they will be capable, rather than falling off the pace rather quickly. Instead, they'll keep it constant regardless of where they are. And with 27 laps to go, a little bit of a bobble back here for Milligan and Cody Johnson and company too, but even if that occurs, everyone still looks to be just fine. Lyles and Schugel still the top two, with Aaron Fontaine still there chasing. Lapper again in Cameron Fields, who was previously involved in an incident, going to be coming up once again, and it looks like he's going to go up high and not really give anyone all too much trouble this time around. Rather than what we saw previously, it looks like Fields going to learn his lesson and instead let the drivers go right by. Here we go again. It's going to be the number 18 and number 13. Johnson of 13 is in 7th. Aaron Fontaine here is in 3rd. Even though they are right there in the same line, they're in fundamentally different positions. Some have gone down to pit road, some have not. Some are on the lead lap, others they're not. And with 25 laps to go, the great equalizer in strategy is due to arrive very shortly. Some drivers going as long as 42 laps on their stint previously, and that would leave Aaron Schugel and company about 5 or 6 more laps if they'd want to keep it out on track. Ryan Murphy right now staying only 1 lap behind, and you can see him there. He is on the tail end of the 1 lap down category. If he were to get past here, he would go 2 laps down, and that would be that. However, it looks like for now he has been able to avoid that fate, and if we ride on board with Schugel, it's clear there's really no intention for him to do that. Coming right up in the tow. Instead of course, trying to go for the pass, it looks like now Ryan Murphy going to be utilized for the draft instead. It looks like now Aaron Schugel understanding the big advantage, of course, of being right behind a driver. He's going to be using less of the fuel tank and staying at full speed, even if he's not using full effort. And so it looks like the rest of the field are going to adopt that same mentality. That's why you see Corey Lyles is so content where he is, once again in 2nd place. Although I'm sure tonight he is not going to settle for 2nd, at least for the time being. He's in a much better position to go for the race win. He's got Aaron Schugel there with them, but the rest of the field who is still with us here, they have not yet been able to go for a race win all throughout this season. 24 laps to go this time by, and a lot of drivers who are winless are at the front of the page in this event, looking to have the breakout headline when all is said and done. It's still going to be, admittedly, Joseph Klein as the leader of this entire line. He's burning up his entire fuel load, even though he's already 16 laps in. 23 laps to go would mean he should be able to make it if he saves about a lap or so. all throughout the run. So in all honesty, Joseph Klein should be fine to make it all the way. And you see there, Cameron Albertson going to be in the number 15 and 6th. And then there's going to be Ryan Murphy. This time by with 22 laps to go, we're going to crank it up with the best cameras on the iRacing platform, Track Cams for Gourmets. Visit trackcams22.com for more information about iRacing's leading camera provider. And we'll show you, of course, here on FTN just how good the best can get. Let's go live, cranking it up with 22 laps to go, courtesy of our friends at Track Cams for Gourmets. 17 laps remain. Drivers now going to be barreling down the back straightaway, and the field is largely separate. The reason being, two drivers have been able to get away, and both of which decided to go for a much shorter strategy on pit road. And it's going to be familiar faces in Aaron Schugel there in second, and Corey Lyles, the man who now leads the way in the number 56. Lyles going to find himself now up and ahead, and he will be leading his teammate down to the stripe with 16 laps remaining. And now that we've gotten to this tail end point, the big question becomes, of course, whether or not these drivers who are in position can succeed at chasing down Lyles and Schugel, who admittedly appear to be pushing each other rather hard up in front. Currently, the pack's pace does not appear to be as quick as what we're seeing right now from Aaron Schugel and Corey Lyles, who have gotten away. However, of course, that could be just due to some pack mismanagement up in front. Here you have Cameron Albertson and Cody Johnson going right at it, and as they go at each other here, 16 laps remaining, you can see Cody right now going to be in fourth. He's got himself just behind Joseph Klein. There he is in the 97, and Lapper's going to be mixed in between with Ryan Murphy there. Oh, despite Murphy's troubles, he's been able to hang on relatively well. And we'll see whether or not, of course, it stays that way for the rest of this event. 15 laps to go. Murphy would be the first driver to head back onto the lead lap if, of course, were to be an instance where drivers can get back on, such as a yellow flag. So Ryan Murphy going to find himself in a big troublesome spot because, unlike what we've seen so far from the rest of these drivers, time being, it looks like Murphy's going to find himself alone, one lap down, going and peeling high. There's the number 13 of Cody Johnson once again. He's going to be looking for a chance at third as Ryan Murphy's going to block him down there on the bottom side. Murph's got the low groove, and it looks like Joseph Klein now going to be low as well. So Cody Johnson going to be tentatively speaking boxed out. Meanwhile, your race leaders are now lonely with 14 laps to go, and they are still gaining time while the rest of the drivers battle each other. It's almost a guarantee now that as long as these two drivers stick together, they will be your winners. And it looks like it'll be Corey Lyles and Aaron Schugel going toe-to-toe until the very end. One caution so far tonight, and the rest of the field has been able to run all clean and green. However, look further back here, and it looks like it's going to be double file once again. It's going to be some runs buffered down the back straightaway. Cody Johnson now heading at a speed of 180 miles an hour. See here, 97 to Joseph Klein, low with Cameron Albertson. No matter what these drivers choose to do, they have not been able to find that big success in gaining back to just two drivers. And you would think those two drivers wouldn't have much of an advantage being oh so alone, but they've got a level of trust these drivers do not with one another, and that's where the advantage comes into play. A baker's dozen remaining. Number 55 machine is going to be still leading this pack, and there's, of course, Ryan Murphy doing his thing. Cameron Albertson going to see his teammate, and Cameron Fields coming back up. Fields is one lap down and also fighting for that lucky dog spot. Let's see right now what Fields can do for it, as, of course, he hasn't been prominent all night long, but it could change here if he wants to battle with Murphy for the lucky dog position. After, of course, what happened with Joey Kuba, Cameron Fields has had no choice but to almost retreat and get out of the limelight here. He hasn't done all too much with respect, of course, to being an aggressive driver ever since that point. But with 12 laps to go and time still running out, let's see what happens here as the number 15 of Cameron Albertson is going to be in charge of leading the field on a 10-lap crusade to the front of the pack once again. It's going to take a long time, and it's going to take some patience here. Not quite sure whether or not the drivers have it any longer, but they'll need just about 12 perfect laps to make it up, and if they don't get on it right now, it's going to be an obvious 1-2 finish for Lyles and Schugel, and this will be the battle for third, where the rest of the pack resides. Up top, there goes Shannon Milliken once again. 69 laps through, and a nice job from these drivers. Even though they're not gaining to not cause any trouble, a yellow flag would admittedly bring the field back together much quicker than anything or anyone else. Contact! Shannon Milliken gonna go low, and it looks like Shannon not gonna save it. Contact with Fields and Cody Johnson too. Yellow flag is out, and right on the cue, Shannon Milliken is going to go around spinning, sliding, and taking out multiple drivers. Going to be a sprint to the finish here, and all bets are off. And just like that, it looks like getting loose into the corner and diving down, trying to save it and overcorrecting. Simple as that, 10 laps to go. And now, Fields is going to be done for the day, as is Milliken. Unfortunately, that's going to be the end of the day for the both of which, as we will take a look back to the leaders of the pack. Corey Lyles going to be up at front. Aaron Schugel going to be second. Cameron Albertson there in third. And now we line up again, maybe looking at our final pit stops of the night. That remains to be seen. Let's see what the drivers decide here as to get themselves bunched up. The iRacing official pace car brings the field back together. Estimates are showing that we're going to have an opportunity to go back to green with about some 7 laps remaining, and that will be the shootout that ends this event. Hopefully, no matter what, overtime is still a possibility, and it looks like for Lyles, he's going to be looking low. Does he commit? It looks like yes. Corey Lyles is going to come down at pit road and bring Aaron Schugel right there with him, so pit road will be busy. Looks like a few drivers going to take it. It'll be about a half and half split. And now Cameron Albertson going to be the overall race leader. Damaged truck's already going to come through. Here's Lyles, here's Schugel, both of which coming together now. 9 laps remaining, and this will be it. Albertson right now going to find himself the overall race leader, and pit road going to get busy. Not all too competitive, but it will be frequently occupied, at least for these final few laps. Aaron Schugel going to come out just behind Corey Lyles yet again, and so Albertson is the overall race leader. 9 laps to go and our second caution of the day, and we will return after the following messages live on FTN. Non-stop coverage allows us to thank all of our FTN partners and associates without breaking the action, so you're going to see everything you're seeing right now here, and a few messages from all those who help us out live on FTN. We'll be right back after the following messages, and we hope you enjoy tonight's content and coverage. Be right back. Stay tuned on FTN for the finish here of the Last Call 200.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
7 laps to go and we go green. A sprint at Daytona to decide your final regular season winner. Cameron Albertson right now going to find himself right beside Aaron Fontaine. 2 drivers looking to lock up a regular season spot to move on to the playoffs in just one foul swoop. Getting the victory, that is. And now that Albertson finds himself up and ahead, he might not have his teammates with them on the lead lap. It's time to go at it one more time. Overtime would occur if we have any caution after the 5 lap to go period. And so, with that being said, Albertson hoping to keep this going with just a few laps remaining. Final moments of this caution. The iRacing official pace car is going to come down to pit road and let the field rip one more time. Pace car going to drop right down and low. Albertson at the bottom and Fontaine up top. Both drivers have not yet seen victory lane yet, and neither has Corey Lyles. Top 3 drivers get things moving, and the green flag will fly. One driver dropping down low. That's going to be Aaron Schugel, and now we get things moving with Cameron Albertson in the lead. Running down the back straightaway with 7 laps remaining here. It looks like Lyles and Schugel, once again, they are powering down the straight, and they are doing so far and ahead of everyone else. Another great jump there yet again for the number 56 of Corey Lyles, and with Aaron Schugel's support, it's a no-doubter for the both of them to make their way through and get up and ahead by themselves. Now, even though there's not many other people who are making it through lap after lap, the same consistency, the pack is together, and it's not going to be that 6-second advantage that Lyles and Schugel have. And now you can see it, Albertson and Klein up on the high side, Jake Raven, and of course, here comes Aaron Fontaine too. High side going to dissipate, at least for the time being, and a temporary advantage to those down low will allow Cameron Albertson a chance to go up top. Will he do so? Let's find out as we ride on board. Albertson decides to stay where he is. No sign of making any changes as drivers come across the stripe once more. 6 laps remaining. Now coming down the front straightaway to make it officially 5 laps to go. 8 drivers on the lead lap, all of which are still within contention, and now pushing as hard as they can. Everyone going to be single file right now, pulling their weight at full throttle and then some. The tow going to keep everyone within a few tenths of a second of each other. And now with 5 laps remaining, Cameron Albertson looking slightly high, but no opportunity to really commit to anything rather than staying in the back. Jake Raven, Joseph Klein also going to be up there, and it looks like Raven will move all the way up to the top and decide to defend. And this is where Ryan Murphy gets into the picture as a 1 lap down driver. Murph is still not there yet. He would need a caution to come up in the next few laps for a chance to go for the race win, and he would also have to avoid it if it were to occur. A little bit of a checkup right now, and Murphy not afraid to tag himself into the wall, and it looked like Murphy was going to try to barrel through. That didn't quite work out, and so it's going to be Jake Raven instead, making his way up there with Corey Lyles, and both of which drop down slightly. Aaron Schugel going to find himself leading. Cameron Albertson going to be there second still. It looks like now Corey Lyles is dropping back ever so slightly and getting caught up in the mix with a driver like Jake Raven, meaning that the top 2 dominance has been at least temporarily broken up again. But Lyles, with a great run on the high side, is going to allow for that momentum to prevail and carry him back up to the number 91 of Schugel. And even though Aaron's got the race lead for now, things could change and may just change this time by 3 laps remaining. 7.5 miles to get this one done, and now that Aaron Schugel finds the number 56 beside him, nothing he can do but hope that Jake Raven isn't all too great of a pusher. Although it looks like for Raven, he has been quite good so far, just maintaining calm and consistent pushes, regardless of what's occurred on the circuit. Jake gonna go up top. Can't quite get it there. Corey Lyles is going to be right there with them, but while Raven tries to go higher, he keeps that line intact and has Joseph Klein. Now, coming up next, Ryan Murphy and Joseph Klein have worked together fantastically all night long, as has Rodney Roberts been at the back of the pack waiting for a perfect opportunity, and now we come around with 2 laps remaining. The popsicle sticks are going to be held up high in the air to the stripe here. Aaron Schugel now going to see a little bit more of Cameron Albertson behind him. 2 laps left in the final 5 miles. It's going to be neck and neck and neck, 2 by 2 by 2, as drivers enter the first 2 turns. Back straightaway running. It's still going to be there. Aaron Schugel in control, the bottom, and Corey Lyles up top. If we get to the white flag, this race will be official, and it'll all come down to the pack that still remains. Last time we went down to Daytona in June, it came down to only 1 driver avoiding the big one in Chris Mullins, and he won by a 10-plus second margin after coming to the lap outside the top 5. White flag is out. 1 lap to go here in the World Center of Racing, and you can see Aaron Schugel out in the head, but right beside him is going to be Corey Lyles, and he's coming to the frame, making it a dead heat again. Lyles has been denied victory all too many times, race after race, week after week. Back straightaway battling. We still go at it with Jake Raven now pushing through, and with Corey Lyles right up there. Tonight's the night he tries to break the streak. Wiggle there for the 91. Lyles is turned. Everyone gets turned behind. Another big one incident. Drivers are still spinning. Now, Aaron Schugel in his first ever start looks to keep the dominance alive and beat Cameron Albertson. Albertson goes low and high once more, but it's no use. Aaron Schugel, first-time starter, first-time winner in Daytona, and the last call 200 won by a first-time driver, Aaron Schugel. Welcome to the Legacy Truck Series. Fontaine barely gets away for 4th. Rodney Roberts rounds out the podium. Cameron Albertson, career-high finish, and the checkered flag will fall for Aaron Schugel here in Daytona. He will win from 2nd place, Cameron Albertson, 3rd place, Rodney Roberts, 4th, Aaron Fontaine, Joseph Klein in 5th, and Corey Lyles 6th, with Trayvon Snyder 7th, Jake Raven 8th, and Ryan Murphy there in 9th. It'll be Cody Johnson, position number 10, and 11th place to Shannon Milligan, with Cameron Fields 12th, Joey Kuba in 13th, Chris Mullins 14th, and Cody Linscott, the 15th and last driver. As here and now, Aaron Schugel burns the house down. Aaron Schugel, what a way to win it, and the checkered flag is his tonight. Backing it up to the start-finish line to conclude his celebration, and another fantastic victory. Schugel showing that the debuting drivers are some of the best in this series, some of which have come through and won from the jump, and Aaron Schugel does that tonight. Way to cap off the regular season in dramatic fashion. Aaron Schugel with the race win. Let's get a word from him right now in our top 3 as we load into the broadcast booth and talk to all those here waiting. The podium sitters, Aaron Schugel, Cameron Albertson, and Rodney Robertson will go through in 1, 2, 3 order. First to hear from will be Schugel. And so now, as we get a word from Aaron Schugel, your race winner in the number 91 machine, we'll take a quick moment to step back and stand by as we get a word from now all your top 3 finishes. You're watching live on FTN coverage here of the Last Call 200, and we'll return after the following messages, live exclusively on FTN coverage of the Prodigy Racing Association Legacy Truck Series.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
Boundless makes its presence felt. It will not be ignored. We're helping turn ideas into reality with a wealth of building products that take every architectural style to the next level. This is what it's like to imagine, build, and transform anything we want into exactly what we seek. This is what it means to be boundless.
And so now we're going to have our top 3 drivers stopping by in the interview room. First of which tonight, a driver who we expected big things from on the entry list, and it looks like not disappointing on a first career start. Aaron Schugel, you win here in Daytona, and the checkered flag is yours after a hard-fought 80 laps. How do you feel with the checkered flag in hand?
It feels pretty good. I feel really bad for Corey. He planned the whole pit strategy, and if that caution didn't come out, I would have just given him the win. I mean, he did a really good job planning that. So sucks that he wrecked out on the last lap, but I mean, in the end, I guess it's good that you're not interviewing me for second anymore, or at least for this race. So that's a plus.
And it looks like tonight you and Corey Lyles, a fantastic job on the strategy. If that caution didn't come out, what a gap you both would have had. 10 plus seconds. It looks like for the first 60 some laps, you guys are playing the strategy the best of anyone else. So first off, let's talk about that before we even finish off with the end of the race. How did you and Corey get to that decision, of course, to get you so far up?
So we wanted to play pretty conservative all race. I mean, we could, on a full tank, you could barely make it to halfway. So when that first caution came out, we decided to pit, and I think it was like lap 15 or something like that. But then there wasn't another caution. We were able to stay out much longer than everyone else. And I don't know if there's someone, had damage or what, but when we did that second pit stop, I mean, I blew through my pit box. Like I messed up my pit stop really, really bad. And we still came out like, I think 4 seconds out of the entire pack. And with the 2-car tandem, we were just able to drive right away from them. And yeah, just great job by Corey. JFR should have been 1-2, but it wasn't. So that sucks, but glad to win.
And very close to keeping the JFR 1-2 streak alive. However, 3 straight wins for the team who have just done so good no matter who's in these trucks. It looks like you guys have been so dominant with, of course, getting these legacy trucks up to the front of the field and keeping them there. So, Aaron, it's your first time, of course, in this series. You came in maybe with a little bit of an emptier notebook. How important was the teammate situation, of course, helping you out and settling in?
It was really important. I mean, without, my teammate, I probably couldn't have, had been on that pit strategy, or at least coordinated it that well. Cause, for most of the race, Corey and I had like a 3-second gap to the entire pack, just tandeming. And if I didn't have a teammate, whether it was Corey or another JFR driver, I would be stuck with the field and it'd be a lot closer. And, I could have gotten involved in a wreck. Someone could have gotten a better run. Like so many factors could have been in play, but, because I had a, JFR teammate there in the end, we're able to control both lines, and I haven't seen the replay. I don't really know what happened on the outside lane, but uh, just everyone behind. I don't really know what happened. It was pretty hard to pass when you were single file. So like the second the outside lane there crashed, I knew I won right away because the car behind me just I don't think he could have gotten by me.
And there was no chance in those final few hundred feet to get by you there. Cameron, of course, was trying, but it didn't work out. So you come out on the scene here with such a great victory. And next week, we are due to go short track racing once again on the schedule of Southern National. However, we do believe that may be subject to change for a larger circuit, such as potentially the Milwaukee Mile. So an unknown regardless. You think you're going to come back for maybe a chance to make it 2 for 2?
I mean maybe. I usually can't race Fridays, so I mean if I can, I'll definitely try it out. I mean, racing is pretty good. I definitely got what's the word? I learned a lesson early in the race. I blocked I believe it was the 22, and I laughed and I said Logano block, and then just the second I said that, oh, don't you do that again or else I'm gonna turn you. So yeah, let yourself not do that again. But if I can, I'm definitely gonna try to. I can't promise though.
And it looks like even though you might have no other guaranteed races in mind, what a way to burst onto the scene here in the Legacy Truck Series and show the entire field just what you're made of. Aaron, we thank you for, of course, coming around and making this race that much more exciting. Do you have any final shout-outs you'd like to give to conclude tonight's broadcast?
Oh yeah, JFR, Corey, just everyone who, is willing to help with JFR when, like I'm not around. Like, we have other people, trying to help, Corey whenever he's doing it full time here. So shout out to them. Fast Gas Racing Products, Impact Safety Gear, Off-Road Warehouse, and Titanium Welding.
There we have it. Aaron Shugogel. Aaron Shugel. You get
Wow,
it done tonight.
David.
Yeah, I know. I was reading from the wrong screen. Aaron, you get it done. You started in the front of the field. You kept it there. What a way to win and keep the JFR dominance alive. Thank you for your time, of course, coming through here in Daytona.
Thank you, man.
And with Aaron on the way, checkered flag for the 91 crew. Up next, it's going to be Cameron Albertson there in second. This is going to be Cameron's, of course, career high finish. And tonight, how about that number 15 team? We mentioned, of course, early in the broadcast, this crew did not come in sponsored to kick off the season. You've got the admin box backing. You started outside the top 10. And tonight, you finished second, moments away from what could have been victory.
Yeah, it was a really good race. Pit strategy really worked in my favor. I guess if you lift enough, you can only do one stop. But I mean, I'm really happy with second, but I never thought in my life I would be so disappointed with a second. Like this is my highest finish in the PRA, which I'm really excited about, but it does kind of amaze me at how close I can get, and just it's never enough. But I want to say thank you to Jaguar Designs and Admin Box for letting us be here today and making us look good while we're here today. And I mean, it sucks that Cameron Fields and the two flipped on one of the last cautions. He had a really good run up until that first caution, but I mean, I'm happy with our team today. We did a really damn good job.
And overall, an amazing team effort. You and Fields were running up there from the midpoint on to about that final caution, giving the field a show. What was it like, of course, knowing that you two have the pace here at the super speedways and working together seemed to be one of your biggest strengths?
The real victory was running 1-2 for like 2 to 3 laps. That felt amazing, knowing that like I have such an amazing team backing me, and I have such good support from everywhere. And I'm just very grateful for every opportunity that I've been presented with and given. But yeah, I am happy with our results today.
And overall, with these results in mind, it looks like, for the time being, unofficially, your number 15 crew will be able to move on to the next round and the opening round of the playoffs as the 7th seed. What are your intentions going forth in the championship picture?
Just finish races, drive clean, get some more top fives. I'm really excited that I did make it.
And a great way to come through, lock in a playoff position with a fantastic finish and a career high at that. Cameron, if you have any final shout outs you'd like to give, the floor is yours.
I want to say thank you to my mom and dad, because they've given me so many opportunities that I don't deserve, and they're always there for me, and I wouldn't be here without them.
And there we have it. Cameron Albertson coming through second on the day. Multiple laps led in the admin box team. Cameron Albertson Fields. Fantastic here from the High Banks. Thank you once again for your time. Now with Albertson on the move, another driver with a career-high finish, Rodney Roberts, came very close to getting into the podium at Pocono with some great pace down in Pennsylvania. And tonight, it looks like that podium speed lasted until the very end. Rodney, your career-high finish here in the Legacy Truck Series and a third-place finish. How do you feel about that?
A pretty good run tonight. Strategy happened to work out. Caught a late caution to catch back up with the field. Just solid run. Managed to miss the wreck right there at the end.
And avoiding a wreck tonight at the very end, the most important part of it all, but strategy also playing a big role in itself. It looks like you went down to pit road in that final caution. Few other drivers choosing not to, but going for the chance to get those new tires seemed to be the way to go for a lot of drivers tonight. Can you walk us through your tire strategy and your fuel strategy as you played the race by ear?
Fuel strategy first, it was just riding the back, try to save as much fuel in case it come down to a one-stop race. Less time on pit road, get out, a little bit further up in the standings. Right there at the end, coming down for tires, tail end of the lead lap anyway. Get the freshest tires, be able to put the truck wherever I wanted it if need be.
Looks like tonight, no problem with that position. So, we talked to a few other drivers who were on the podium today. They had teammates. Admittedly, you were running out there almost on your own throughout the entire night, and we know communication is so key at these plate tracks. How'd you make it work, even if it was a little bit more like you were all out there on your own?
I got a couple of guys that I run with on a usual basis, like Cameron. I run with him a good bit, and we usually work pretty good as a team, and I just kind of got lucky really at the end. I was waiting for something to happen, and I managed to make it through it on that one.
And it looks like making it through for the podium, and it looks like unofficially locking yourself in for a playoff position when all is said and done with a very strong final 2 races of the regular season. You have your eyes set on anything deeper when it comes to the championship race?
I should be ready to go for the championship. Driving these trucks were new for me. These first few races that we had, I feel a little more comfortable in them now. I think I can go after running up front a little bit more.
And settling in, looking for those strong results. And as of recent, Rodney, they've been coming pretty easy. Checkered flag tonight falls with you in third. If you have any final shout-outs you'd like to give or any last messages, we'd love to hear them.
Just shout out to you for broadcasting and PRA for putting on the league. Great group of people who enjoy racing.
There we have it. Rodney Roberts pulling through with a great result tonight in the number 29, third place on the day. We thank you once again. And so with Rodney on the move, the number 29 crew rounds out the podium in tonight's event. And from there, Cameron Albertson with another career-high finish, second on the day, and Aaron Schugel with the victory. JFR has won 3 consecutive, and they have been the team to beat throughout the regular season. And now, they're looking to be the team to beat in the playoff picture. Tune in next week as coverage continues here on FTN of the Legacy Truck Series playoffs. Now, unofficially speaking, we should be heading over to the Milwaukee Mile for the next race. That is still to be confirmed, as it does appear that Southern National has been replaced and removed from the overall schedule, and instead, you'll see another track with its place. Tonight, from the virtual Daytona International Speedway, we witnessed a fantastic race at the high banks, and I've been your host for the broadcast, David Croyds, commentating and producing from flag to flag. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. And tune in next Friday night, same time, same place, for more coverage here from the SimPulse Legacy Truck Series. Southern National is on the schedule. However, keep your eyes peeled, because it might be at another track like Milwaukee come next Friday. Stay tuned, and of course, keep your eyes peeled on the FTN YouTube page to find out all the news about what's next. We thank you all for watching tonight's coverage of the Last Call 200, brought to you by Mound Visit Uniforms, and we hope you have a fantastic night.